Considering the ongoing strain between Saudi Arabia and the US because of the continuous Ukraine-Russia war, the chance of the previous joining the BRICS bloc brings up issues about the effect it could have on the US's oil security. The topic takes center stage in today's video. Last week, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman expressed the Gulf nation's interest in joining BRICS to President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa during his visit to Riyadh. Other countries, including Turkey and Egypt, have also expressed their desire to join the emerging economies group. The matter of expanding the BRICS bloc will be discussed during the upcoming summit to be held in South Africa under its presidency in 2023, according to media reports. It is worth noting that the circumstance in Saudi Arabia has been very fascinating and captivating lately. By and large, Saudi Arabia has kept areas of strength for a friendly relationship with both the US and West Asia. Notwithstanding, lately, the idea of this relationship has been portrayed by a progression of promising and less promising times. During his official campaign, Biden took a hard position against Saudi Arabia, depicting it as a country that ought to be evaded because of the supposed contribution of Sovereign Salman in the severe homicide of Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi. Despite this rhetoric, President Biden's stance softened once he assumed office. He made a visit to Saudi Arabia with the aim of maintaining low oil prices and potentially punishing Russia, as per earlier reports. This sudden change of heart by the US administration towards Saudi Arabia has raised many eyebrows and has left many wondering about the real reasons behind the shift in attitude. The president of Argentina, Alberto Fernandez, recently expressed interest in joining the BRICS group to Chinese President Xi Jinping. Similarly, Iran has also applied for membership in the group. The two nations have already submitted their applications for the same. It has been reported that Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Egypt will also be submitting their formal applications for joining the group later this year in June. The BRICS group represents a significant portion of the world's population, accounting for over 40% and nearly a quarter of the world's GDP. The expansion of the group will undoubtedly enhance its global impact and influence. As per recent reports, there has been a lot of interest expressed by various countries to become a part of the emerging markets bloc at the BRICS summit this year. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Zhao Jin has been quoted as stating that China actively supports the member countries to initiate the expansion process for BRICS Plus Corporation. In other news, reports suggest that talks between South Africa and Saudi Arabia were held amid the road between Riyadh and Washington over OPEC's decision to cut production quotas by 2 million barrels a day. US President Joe Biden has accused the longtime ally of being close to Russia during the Ukraine crisis and has issued warnings of unspecified consequences. Lawmakers in the United States have recently demanded the cessation of arms sales and the withdrawal of military support to Saudi Arabia, but the Saudi government has refused to comply with their requests. Meanwhile, a recent decision by OPEC+, a group of countries that includes Saudi Arabia and Russia to reduce oil production and maintain high prices in the international market, has been seen as an act of defiance by Washington, which believes it will benefit Russia. This move has angered President Biden, who has warned Saudi Arabia of potential consequences. Given the current situation, Saudi Arabia's expressed interest in joining BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa could be viewed as an attempt to diversify its foreign policy options. It may also be a way for Saudi Arabia to signal to the United States that it has alternate options available if necessary. However, it's important to note that while Saudi Arabia has expressed interest in joining BRICS, the group has yet to make a decision on expanding its membership. Furthermore, the organization does not have a clear policy on expansion, and past attempts to add new members have been rejected by some existing members. While Russia and China may be eager to include Saudi Arabia in BRICS, other members may not share their enthusiasm. Saudi Arabia and India share close relations, but India is cautious about the possibility of expanding the bloc presently. India, South Africa, and Brazil are concerned that other nations may make similar requests. BRICS comprises nations that are regional powerhouses and they are apprehensive about other nations becoming members of the group. Karen Costa Vazquez, the executive director of the Center for African, Latin American, and Caribbean Studies, has shared her views with Financial Express Online, stating that OPEC nations and significant oil-producing countries like China, as well as large consumers such as China and India, wish to unite against interference from the United States and stabilize prices. China and India are among the biggest oil consumers in the world. In recent years, political motives have been witnessed in the form of sanctions imposed on other countries like Russia. It is possible that this could be one of the reasons why Saudi Arabia has approached BRICS about becoming a member. Another reason could be that these countries are ready to take a more active role in global affairs. We can see that many of these countries are increasing the amount of aid they offer to other countries, engaging in global discussions, and undertaking other initiatives. In order to accept new members, a unanimous consent vote is necessary. Saudi Arabia is not only geographically closer to India, but it also has stronger political and economic interests in the region, particularly with regard to oil. Therefore, it may be easier for India to take a stance on Saudi Arabia compared to a country like Argentina, which has weaker political and economic ties with India. Xiao Pines, a Chinese specialist, provided an opinion on Saudi Arabia's potential participation in BRICS. The Experiment on International Relations, based in Beijing, requested to remain anonymous, but expressed that the United States had intended for Saudi Arabia to follow its directives and prioritize its interests. However, recent events have shown that Washington may have acted too aggressively. According to analysts, Saudi Arabia's interest in joining BRICS signifies its increasing autonomy in diplomatic relations with the United States, which some believe to be self-centered in its dealings with the Middle Eastern nation. As per the analyst, if Saudi Arabia were to become a member of BRICS, it would not only secure its energy interests, but also prevent other countries from using it against them. The expert from Beijing stated that this move could promote ties between the Middle East and the BRICS countries while diminishing the influence of the United States in the area. Recent global developments require modification of the oil for security structure between Saudi Arabia and the United States. Li Xiaoxian, head of the China Institute for Arab Studies at Ningxia University, emphasized the significance of the Middle East in the world. Europe, Russia, and China have established significant ties with the region through the Belt and Road Initiative, BRI. However, under the current framework led by the United States, Saudi Arabia does not experience equal treatment or respect. The BRICS nations, which have regained their footing, are demonstrating greater cooperation and a shared objective to revamp the financial system that's currently dominated by the US dollar. Russia and China are spearheading this endeavor due to their ongoing geopolitical rivalry with the US and the looming threat of additional sanctions. The aim is to devalue the dollar and safeguard their interests, which have been shaped by this ongoing contest. The BRICS countries, which include India, Brazil, and South Africa, have publicly voiced their support for changing the existing global financial system and increasing opportunities for the use of their national currencies in international trade. All members of the BRICS group have taken steps to decrease their dependence on the US dollar and enhance their self-determination in the global financial system. The main goal of the BRICS nations is to challenge the domination of the US dollar and establish their own area of influence and currency within that sphere. To this end, they are working towards creating a currency that resembles the SDR's basket currency. It's unclear if all the BRICS countries are willing to use their foreign reserves to establish a new area of influence. To reduce the risk of external shocks and currency volatility associated with the US dollar, all BRICS nations have prioritized diversifying their economies and de-dollarizing their currencies. This could be achieved in various ways. However, despite the BRICS member states' intentions to protect their global financial interests by creating a reserve currency, their heavy reliance on the US dollar poses challenges that could impede the idea's realization in the near future. What is your opinion on the BRICS? Do you think it will lead to the downfall of the US dollar? Please share your thoughts by leaving a comment below.